Hey everyone, welcome to the Radical Geek YouTube. Today we're going to make cheese sauce. So join us in just a few minutes while I get a couple things set up. Welcome back everyone, this is the Radical Geek YouTube channel, and as I said in the intro, we are going to make a cheese sauce, and more specifically a velvety smooth queso, because I want comfort food, and what other thing to do than to not only enjoy something delicious, something keto, something comforting, but also geekly, right? So if you've made cheese sauces in the past and you've ever had that a problem where it splits or it's all greasy, and since we're keto, it doesn't always come out all wonderful velvety smooth because we can't have cornstarch or other emulsifiers that you might add that would help ease that up. But we actually have one of the best ingredients that are perfectly wonderful for keto, and that would be your sodium citrate. Sodium citrate is a fermented citric acid. It's used in lots of foods. It's a well-known preservative and is used in a lot of foods for its emulsifying properties. So it's often added to commercial cheeses as one of the things they add in to help with its meltiness. So if you throw down like some American cheese in the pot and you notice that it gets all nice and smooth, or sometimes that's why at holidays people are very happy with the Velveeta, even though that's a Franken food that we really should not be eating. But it does have that creaminess, and well, one of the things that really contributes to that is the sodium citrate. So I've actually cheated a little bit, and what I've got here in my pan is 2 cups of heavy cream. And all I've done is brought it to a good nice steam and let it steam up throughout. When you see how easy this is, you'll be blown away. Probably you've already seen this. I'm pretty sure other people, especially other keto people, have done this in their videos, but I think it's been a while. And hey, maybe you haven't been around that long, maybe you're new, maybe you like coffee a lot, so you've found my videos, and so now I'm gonna teach you something more interesting. But I did say not just cheese sauce, queso. So I am going to add a few things to this heavy cream, and you want to make sure that you don't let it get all boily because you can break your heavy cream or make it curdle. But a nice low heat. So I've added some salt and pepper. Just going to give that a little stir around. I like to keep my dairy moving because otherwise it gets that skin and it's just not as pleasant. Now I will say some recipes will tell you that it'll be awesome just using water, and I'll tell you you can just use water, but it does not taste as good. The dairy from the heavy cream, not only is it really delicious and filling, it's also enhances the cheese flavor. I've got some dried chives here. If you're not a vegetable person, leave it out. But it's a tablespoon, so that's not really enough that's going to bother me. And I'm certainly not eating this entire cheese queso all in one sitting. I have a good appetite. I have a pretty big appetite, but it's not that big. The other thing, this is an essential cheese sauce ingredient. It's actually, if you ever a mac and cheese kind of person, I guess in our case it wouldn't be macaroni anymore, but cauliflower and cheese, broccoli and cheese, or anything that you're making cheese sauce for, you need to put some mustard in there, and I go the mustard powder route. I really feel that it enhances, and so I actually have a grater, a spice grater, and I just filled it up with mustard seeds, and it's my go-to. So I give that a go. And just going to get this a second to kind of season in before we get to the exciting part, and that will be the actual cheese. So what I actually have is a medium heat on my camp stove. Usually I know a lot of YouTubes and a lot of cooking people enjoy their time and they are using induction cooktops, and yeah, that probably would be nice, but I don't know, there's something about my camp stove that I just really enjoy. So that's what we're using today. So also I have my cheese here, which as you can see is a pretty big bowl. I don't know if I'll need all of it, but it is a Tillamook cheddar, and I put it up in I used a rotary grinder, a little hand crank. You don't need an electric one. It works great. It takes moments. So I've even eliminated the potato starch from a commercial shredded cheese, although honestly there's not enough in that to really be like overstressed about unless you are really deep in the weeds on your ingredients management. Occasionally a little buildup on my spatula. I'm just going to scrape that back in. Good to go. Give my little spoon a wipe here. So anyways, the next part is super simple. It is going to take this sodium citrate, and you know, I had 2 cups of cream in this giant bowl of cheese. Look, I've got a 1/4 teaspoon here. I'm digging in, I'm letting it heap in, and I'm just giving it a light sprinkle throughout the cream here. And that is really all you need. That is technically a lot of sodium citrate. So, you know, the container, the $10 piece on Amazon is going to give you enough for a really long time. And I put it in those little snap containers. That's where I keep all my pantry items, in those kind of containers. I actually found them in tons of sizes because they were recommended by people in the Keto Chow group for storing keto chow, and so I've got some for basically every flavor of keto chow. They're fantastic and I just love them. Anyway, so you want to make sure that the sodium citrate dissolves and doesn't have like any little beads in there, because nothing is too exciting about that getting a little extra sour salty bit. I did mention that it's fermented citric acid, but you should know another common term for the sodium citrate is sour salt. And if you are a measuring sort, because I know that it's important to measure, and I am often the person on our group when they're like, share the recipe, and I'm like, well, about that. So, but if you are really wanting to be strict about it, you should know that usually you use 1/2 of the liquid and 2 to 3% of whatever that measurement is in sodium citrate, which in this case was the 1/4 spoon, and then the rest is cheese. I actually eyeball it, and I'm going to start doing that now, just so you know. It doesn't have to be amazing either. Here's the little ends that, you know, when you're grating stuff, you always get that tiny little sliver, and I'm just going to dump that right in. I'm going to grab a handful of my cheese, and you do it in little stages so that you can keep an eye on the thickness and the meltiness. It's already getting nice and turning that nice light little yellow. Add some more in, spill some on the table, pick that up. The reason I don't just like dump the whole bowl in there is because I want to keep an eye on how it thickens so that I don't go too far. Although if we do take it too far, I'll show you the solution to that. But also I don't want to lower the temperature of the cream so much that we have to turn up the heat, because you don't want it to boil over and make a big mess. And it really only needs to be warm enough for things to melt and get nice and I'm going to give myself a little bit more heat. I turned it down a little too much. There you go. But you just get that stirring going and it will come together. I got to stand up for a moment and get a better look. It is happening, just very slowly here. It does take some time. At any rate, the other thing that I've got to put in with this cheese sauce, as we've got a little time to fill, is that I've got fire roasted chilies. These are hatch green chilies, jalapenos, and a green ghost. I discovered this summer, thanks to the lovely people at Flatiron Pepper, that green ghost chilies are extremely flavorful. You wouldn't think so because they're not ripe yet, but if you pick them at the end of the season before you have to pull your plant and bring it in for the winter, and then you roast them off and dehydrate and stuff, is delightful. But I've made like my nice little chili mix sauce. If you don't want it heated and you still want chili in your queso, you can always get just the green poblanos and roast them off. They're delightful, and you can even buy them. I believe Costco has the great big jars of the hatch green chilies, which are the best. And I say that because I grew up in that region, but also they actually are the best. They are so amazing and flavorful. So I've melted that in, and you can see no more cheese, but it's nowhere near cheese saucy enough. So we start with the next batch. And I give you, and you can see, so it's definitely, I'm going to do 2 handfuls. I don't have patience. I know, I just said you have to exhibit patience, and yet there, I already told you I can do it. Patience are not for geeky Maitreya's. So, what am I going to do with all this cheese sauce, you might wonder? Because that certainly is a lot. Well, the queso will keep. You can put it in another dish, and you can put it up in the fridge. You can reheat it. It reheats lovely either on the stove and even in the microwave. Although if you reheat it in the microwave, it might look like it separates because some of the fat will come up to the top. No problem, because the sodium citrate is a strong emulsifier and it will blend right in. And you can see already it's still very thin. I've got some more cheese to get in there, but it is getting that thick cheese sauciness that we are looking for. And so just give it a little stir, and we go with our next bit of cheese, because you might be thinking that is a lot of cheese. And don't worry, as much as I might want to just get a spoon and dig in, you know, it's going to go for a lot of people, a lot of different dishes. We eat it with vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower. In fact, I'll be making some non-queso cheese sauce for Thanksgiving to pour over some roasted broccoli. Haven't decided if I'm going to smoke the broccoli yet or just roast it off in the oven. Hard to say. Probably the oven, because our prime rib is going to go on the smoker. So, at any rate, you just keep adding your cheese until it starts getting the right consistency for you. Your preference. A lot of people might stop now, but that would not be my style. 100% all in. I almost always wind up adding too much, and I'm hoping that I don't do that today, even though it would give us an opportunity to show the fix. I'd much rather just tell you about it. So, but if you do wind up going too far and your sauce gets too thick because you added too much cheese, as if there were such a thing, at this point, I know when I said the dairy adds and enhances the flavor of the cheese. At this point, though, if you do overdo it and it gets too thick and it comes together like one giant cheese melty string, you can absolutely just bring in some very, very hot water and mix it in a little bit to thin it out. And it stays emulsified. It's really amazing. My sauce is almost there. Shoot. I might have almost not made enough cheese. No, it's really getting there. So, that is the main thing for the cheese sauce. So, the other thing, besides vegetables, because I know a lot of us don't love vegetables, it is great with the bacon chips. If you've seen Dr. Barry's video where he basically deep fries the bacon until it's super hard and crunchy, it goes amazing with pepperoni chips or salami chips. And in my case today, I'm having pork rinds. So really, you could eat it with anything. You can also take this cheese sauce and put it on top of stuff. Maybe you made an omelet, some nice chorizo and eggs. Pour that cheese sauce right on top of it. If you have a low-end sort of steak and you need to dress it up, there you go. Boom, cheese sauce. It's fantastic on burgers. Sometimes I don't want hollandaise. That is a rare time. I almost always want hollandaise. But if you didn't want that, you can also put it on top of eggs. It's really delightful on top of poached eggs. And if you have any of that egg bread or even the PSMF bread, and you put the cheese sauce, which makes it not PSMF, because obviously this is not sparing any fat in any way, shape, or form. But any of those things, there you go. I'm putting the last of my cheese in. It is super nice and lovely and thick. We'll just finish melting that, and you can let it go a little bit so it can reduce a little bit. You can't see on the camera, but steam is coming off of it. It's really nice. So there you go. We've got a nice cheese sauce. That was a little glob of cheese that hasn't melted yet. So we'll wait till I can pull you a nice vision of it. So the other thing that I will just show you real quick, because I know that some of you come to our Sunday night live streams. This is a cool gadget. This is, and we're doing a mocha pot. I have a clear one so we can watch it brew. I thought that might be fun. It's not the best mocha pot, but it is pretty, it's still fun to be able to see. I really like when we can actually see inside the brewers. So that will be a thing. And we might actually have to do 2 brews, one regular mocha pot and one with this, because 50-50 if I'm going to love it or not. At any rate, what you can do here is any number of things. If you want it thicker, you can let it reduce. You can add more cheese. You can just let it cool down a little bit because it is screaming hot. But what I am actually going to do is add in my chilies to quesofy them. That's my official technical term, quesofy. And instead of putting things on my tablecloth that I had just cleaned up, I'm sure everybody in the family will be thrilled to re-clean it again. I'll put it on my plate. I actually got another bowl to pour the cheese sauce off into, but I've decided I will wait till after we are done. I look forward to seeing what you all think about this Science-y cheese sauce. As you can see, it's coating the spoon, it's sticking to the spoon, just a little bits of drip off. Cheesy deliciousness. Let me know what your favorite kind of comfort food is. Look at that, coat the spoon. It's going nowhere. So, let's talk about what we're having for Thanksgiving sides. I already told you that I was actually making a non-quesofied cheese sauce to go on our roasted broccoli. I know I've seen a lot of really amazing things. A lot of people are using some keto chow in an innovative way. Share those down below. I love for us to have some good recipes. And in the meantime, enjoy our Science-y magic cheese sauce. So, because it is all done. I'm going to turn this off. And even though I've still got a pan on there, pop that butane so we know that I don't leave it down here as a fire hazard. And even though I should wait until it cools so I don't burn my mouth, I cannot resist. I'm getting a big old scoop of cheese sauce. It's actually filled in the little hole, not really dripping. And already made the stress of the day better with that one bite. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Bye bye.